Okay, so what we're going to do today is start on problems 7 through 13. Now, recall from last class, we started working on problems 1 through 4, and 5 and 6. Now, to get to our borders that we need, we're going to go up here to the top by the home, and we're going to hit New. Now, inside here, what we're going to find is we're going to look for a template specifically for 7 through 13. Now, that's going to be this last template that you see in here, and you'll see the preview over here to the right-hand side. As soon as you see that, hit OK. Now what you're going to see here is, and what's going to happen is SolidWorks is going to automatically think you're trying to put a part inside this drawing. Now remember, we haven't done parts yet, and we're going to start doing those in a couple weeks. So when we see this come up, we're going to go over here to the left where it says Model View. We are going to hit the red X. Now use your F key to center this part up. Now you'll notice here we have a bunch of circles. We got a couple things we have to do to get everything started before we can even get the drawing piece going. The first thing I need to do is I need to look at my original drawing that I supplied for you in Schoology. And you're going to notice that some of these circles are not solid. Some of them are dashed. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for those that are dashed, and we're going to change them. So in this case, for instance, number 10, if I click on this circle here, it turns light blue. When I see it turn light blue, I'm going to come over here to my left where it says For Construction. Check that box, and you'll notice that the circle now becomes dashed. I'm going to hit the check mark, and I'm going to continue working around. It looks like the next one I'm going to need is problem number 13. I'm going to click that box, For Construction, check mark. It looks like problem number 12 also, but we got two different things going on here. I need to, make this For Construction, check, but I also need to shrink the size of the circle because according to the drawing, this circle should not be 3, it should be at 1.875. Now, the next thing I want to do is I got my circles the way they're supposed to look. I need to pin each one of these circles down or anchor them as we did with problems 1 through 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus in on each of these centers, left click on each one, and when it turns light blue, look to your left and hit the word Fix. I'm going to do this through all 7 circles. Fix, click, fix, click, fix, click, and fix, click, and fix. Last but not least, click and fix. This is kind of critical because with some of the circular pattern that we're going to do in the trimming, we don't want anything to move on us. So now I have my circles locked down. I have the circles that are supposed to be in dashed line and dashed line. Now what I need to do is start adding in some plus signs or center marks. And we did this when we did our drawings, about our hand drawings, in order to get our circle template to line up. Anytime we see something round or a circle or a hole, we need to have center marks inside that hole. So in order to do this, we're going to have to introduce a new line tool. So if you go up here, I'm going to blow up a number 7 first. But if you go up to your line tool here, we're going to drop the arrowhead down. Now we have several lines we can pick. Line, center line, and midpoint line. I would like you to turn on the center point line. Left click. Now, when you get to your circle, you're going to notice if you hover on the edge of it, these little diamonds come up. These are called quadrants. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hover, for instance, on this top quadrant and then slightly pull up. Now notice when I hovered, I did not click my mouse. All I did was hover on it and then pull slightly up. And what you'll notice is that SolidWorks starts looking and thinking ahead, saying, hey, do you want to line up with this quadrant? And it shows you a blue line where that lineup will happen. I want it to line up, so I'm going to left click just above, and now I'll pull down below. I'm going to hit Escape. I'm going to turn on my center line tool again. Now I'm going to hover on my circle, but this time I'm going to use the left or the right quadrant. Hover, slightly pull your mouse out, left click and pull across. We're going to do this on all 7 circles. So again, center line, hover, pull down, escape, center line, hover, pull out, pull across, escape. Continue on. Center line, hover, slightly above, slightly below, escape. Center line, hover, pull out, pull across. Now in this case, I hit the wrong key because I hit F1 instead of escape. Sorry about that. But there's my line. Okay, so it takes her to the top. So let's go to problem number 9 and continue this on. Center line, hover, pull up, down, escape. Center line, hover, pull out, left click, pull across, escape. Go into problem number 8. Center line, hover, left click, down. Center line. Now at any time you're lost, you can always rewind and repeat and watch where my arrows are going. Okay, so I'm going to continue on. I know I'm moving at a fast pace, but you have the opportunity here to rewind and watch this multiple times. Center line. Now this one, actually, I'm going to draw long, and I should have drew this one longer because if you look at the drawing I gave you, these are actually longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to delete this line. I'm just going to drag this endpoint with a left click and a hold and pull it a little bit higher. Turn on my center line tool again. Pull this out a little bit and across. Hover. And finish off with this line right here. Escape. F key. Okay, so all my circles should have center marks. Okay, this is a number 1 priority whenever we draw anything with circles in it. Okay. Now, what I want to do before I go any further is just go ahead and save, because I don't want you to lose any of the changes you've done so far. So let's go up here to the top where it says save and drop this down to a save as. Okay, now this is important because I want to make sure we save it to the correct spot. What we're going to do is we're going to make sure we go into our CAD folder under your name, CAD. Now I've made a flat layout folder. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to name this caps lock ACC 7-13 underscore my last name, and just for good measure, your period. I'm going to replace it because I've already done this, and there you go. Now you should see your title up here at the top. Now all we have to do to save it is Control and S. Now I'm going to work on number 7 here. So I'm going to kind of blow up in there. I'm rolling the mouse into me. And now what we're going to do is we are going to start creating that little flower shape. And the way we're going to do that is use a special tool called a 3-point arc. But before I do that, I have to create another center line coming from this center and attaching to the circle at a 60-degree angle. Okay, and if you're not sure what I'm talking about, reference the drawing I supplied you in Schoology. I'm now going to go here and drop this down, the line tool to center line. I'm now going to connect it to the center, and this is important. Don't get caught at a midpoint of one of these 2 lines. Okay, make sure you are at the center. Now, if you're not sure of that, hover on the circle, and you'll notice a round circle shows up. When I see that, I'm going to left click on it, pull down until I touch the edge, left click, and hit escape. Now I need to add a 60-degree angle between these 2 lines here, the vertical and this angle line. I turn on my smart dimension. I'm going to click on this line here and click on this line over here. Notice I did not click on the end points of the line. I clicked from line to line. Now I'm going to pull down, type in 60. Hit escape to turn your tool off. Now, up here in your sketch toolbar, I would like you to go to the arc tool, which is in the second row middle. I would like you to drop the arrow down so you can see what we have to offer. First thing I see is center point arc. I see a tangent arc and a 3-point arc. We are going to use the 3-point arc. Now, when I click here and I see 3-point, remember our discussion last class, 3 points, 3 clicks. So I'm going to click this, and now I'm going to pick 3 spots. Okay, so where I'm going to click, the very first is going to be up here at this quadrant. That's going to be click number 1. Click number 2 is going to be at the end of this 60-degree line. Click number 2. And then I'm going to pull this. Now I can't really attach it there. Nothing's showing up. So what I'm going to do instead is pull a little bit long and then hit escape to turn my tool off. Now, I need this arc to attach to this point, okay, through a relationship. Now, if you recall, to get a relationship going, we hold our control key down. So hold down your control key, click on the arc, hold your control key still, and click on this endpoint. You should see over here left a point where you can say coincident. Now my arc is perfectly in line with the 3 points. 1, 2, 3. 3 points, 3 clicks. Hit your check mark. Now what I want to do is I want to pattern this arc in a circle. I want to pattern it 6 times. Okay, we're not going to draw every single arc to make that shape that you see in the drawing I gave you. We're going to use a faster tool like the offset, but in this case we're going to do a pattern. And if you look up on your toolbar next to offset, you will see linear sketch pattern. If you drop that arrow down, I want you to pick circular since we are dealing with circles. Now the most critical box in this over here to the left is this very first one. This is the spin point. Where do you want your pattern to spin around? If you don't pick anything, Solidworks will pick this corner way down here. Now imagine, if that's the corner I want to copy around, what's going to happen is if I take 6 arcs, the first one will be here, the second one will be way out here somewhere, the third way out here in space, the fourth somewhere off the screen, and so forth, because it's spinning around this point. So what I want to do is I really want to blow up and make sure that this first box right here, left click in it so it turns pink, I want you to pick this center of the circle. Now, the next box I want you to look at is how many copies do I want? Number of instances. Instead of 4, we're going to put in 6. Now, the last part of this is how many of these do I want to pattern? What do I want to pattern? Excuse me. Entities to pattern means what entity? The entity in this case is the arc. So click inside here and pick the arc. Now, what you're going to see is basically an arrowhead saying, hey, we're going to spin around this center point 6 times going in this direction. Now, some of you may be fortunate enough to maybe see some yellow pieces in there. Mine, I don't. So I'm just going to trust this is going to work, come to my left, and hit the check mark. And as you can see, there is the flower pattern. Now, I'm just going to adjust this a little bit. I bring this in. If you want to do it like I have it on my drawing, you can just drag this over here, and that is fine also. But at this point, problem number 7 is complete. Control S. So let's move over or move down to problem number 8. Now, if you look at problem number 8 here, what you're going to see is a pattern of 4 circles with a dash circle on the inside. So what I wanted to first do is draw the dash circle. So I'm going to highlight this circle right here, the regular circle tool, hover on my big circle so I can find that symbol right there, left click on it, and pull a circle. Hit escape, turn off your tool. Actually, left click on your circle one more time, and over here to the left, make it for construction. Remember, for construction makes the circle dashed. Turn on your smart dimension, and we are going to dimension this circle, at 1.5. 1.5. Now, turn on your circle tool again. What we're going to do is we are going to lock that new circle onto that quadrant, and I'm going to pull until it attaches to this large circle here. When I see the large circle turn orange, left click. Hit escape to turn off your circle tool. Now, I'm going to pattern this new circle here 4 times. So I'm going to go to linear sketch pattern and drop the arrow down. I'm going to pick circular sketch pattern. I'm going to choose 4. But the first box, oh, I almost did it my own self. The first box is most critical. Remember, I need to know where I'm spinning this from. In this case, I'm going to highlight it and pick the center of this circle. I want 4 of these circles in pattern. And the entity I want to pattern is going to be that circle right there. I don't see a preview, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit my check mark. And now at this point, this drawing is done, or this problem 8 is done. Do a Control S to save. Problem number 9. We're going to draw 2 initial circles to start with. So turning on my circle tool, again, I will hover on the outside edge. Again, the reason I do this is so I can find that symbol right there. I'm going to left click 1, pull circle here, left click number 2. Hit escape to turn your tool off. Turn on your smart dimension. Click on this inside circle and pull down a little bit like so. Let's see, let's go about that direction. That's going to be 1.125. Click on this outside circle. This is going to be 1.875. Okay, if you need to adjust them, I can grab with my left mouse button down and I can move things around. Okay, so play with them as you will. Now, go back to your circle tool and turn it on again. I'm going to attach a circle to this line that's going to fit between these 2 circles. Now, what I'm going to do is just pull a little bit small. Hit escape to turn my circle tool off. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a relationship tool. Relationship tool, again, is using your control key. I'm going to build a relationship between the small circle here and this big circle here. And then I'm going to do a small circle here and this inside circle here. So I'm going to use my control key first to hit the small circle first, outside circle. Make it tangent. Check mark. Control key, small circle. Control key, inside circle. Now mine's not showing because I have that B border sitting right there. So just highlight it and hit delete. I'm going to make that now tangent. And you'll now notice that the circle fits perfectly between the inside and outside circle. I'm going to hit my check mark. Now I want to pattern this small circle 6 times around that center. So again, under linear sketch pattern, drop this down to circular. Pick the first box, pick the center of this circle here. Where it says 4, I'm going to change this to 6. Entities to pattern, I'm going to pick that little circle right there, and I'm going to hit my check mark. Now, the last thing I need to add to finish this problem is I need to turn on my smart dimension, hit the small circle right here, pull a little bit to my left, say OK, and now problem number 9 is done. Control S. So now if you're looking at this F key, I've got problem 7, problem 8, and problem 9 done. Now again, if you've fallen behind, go ahead and use this opportunity on this video to rewind as many times as you need to get to this point. For those of you ready to go, let's go on to problem number 10. Problem number 10, I'm going to blow up in on here. Now this one's a unique one. Okay, we have a little issue with the trim. We're going to have to add some specific relationships to make the trim tool work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start by drawing two circles. Okay, actually one circle, excuse me. I'm going to draw a circle right here on this line, pull like so. Now, hold your control key down and hit that circle here, the small one here. Control key down, hit your large circle out here. Add a tangent relationship. Okay, check mark. Turn on your smart dimension and dimension this circle to 1.5 and hit enter. And as you do that, look over here to your left. I would like to go in this white dialog box where it says dimension text, and behind all that information, space TYP. Please make sure this is in all caps. If it's not, it will be marked wrong. Now, turn on your offset entities tool. Yes, that tool is still going to be used. I'm going to go offset entities, and according to the drawing, I need to offset a circle 0.22 enter. I'm at no dimension there, so make sure dimensions are off. Select chain is on. I'm going to click on the circle, and I realize I'm going the wrong way. So as we discussed in last class, go over here to the left and hit reverse. Check mark. Now I need to pattern these two circles 4 times. So again, under linear sketch pattern, drop this down to circular, highlight the first box, and pick this middle. I want 4, that's already in there. Entities to pattern. I'm going to pick the inside circle 1, outside circle number 2, and I'm going to hit my check mark. Now, the problem is right now, if I try to trim, what's going to happen is a bunch of this is going to get taken away. The pieces I want to keep are gone. So I need to go Control Z, Control Z. What I need to do to make this work is I need to add a relationship between each inside circle to the other inside circle by tangent. So I'm going to hold my control key, inside circle, make them tangent, check mark. Control key, left inside circle, bottom inside circle, tangent, check mark. Control key, bottom inside circle, right side inside circle, make them tangent. Check, control key, right side inside circle, top inside circle, make those tangent. Now, let's try trimming again, and I'm doing trim to closest, and what you'll now notice is not the whole circle doesn't disappear because we have the circles now touching each other. So what I'm going to do is focus on each circle individually. I'm going to come around one full circle, then I'll work the next one, the third one, and finish on the fourth. So I'm going to kind of work around and be very diligent and slow on this. Okay, if you make a mistake, Control Z. I'm going to hit that line there and this line here. Working around this circle, I see this one here is gone and this one here is gone. I continue working around, I see there is gone and there. Working around, I see this one and that one. Okay, first circle is done. Go to my second circle, working around. I see here, I see that line's gone and this line. Working around again, I see that this line here is gone and this line here is gone. Work around the bottom circle, I get to here. I see this circle or that line goes away. This line, oops, nope, Control Z that. Look at that. Made a mistake. That's why you do the trim to closest. It's this line goes away and that line goes away. Okay, come in here, that line there and this line here. Hence the reason I use trim the closest. Control Z was one step back. It didn't bring it all back with like it would do in power trim. Now at this point, I'm done with my trimming. I've got one dimension to add. So I'm going to turn on my smart dimension and I'm going to click on the inside top circle, outside top circle. Nope, escape. I didn't mean to hit the point there. This circle, escape. Oh, totally. Sorry. Inside circle, outside circle, and pull up and to my right. Okay, hit your check mark. This circle is now complete, or this problem is now complete. So Control S to save. So at this point now, we've completed problem 7, 8, 9, and 10. Again, if you need to, use the rewind to go back and re-listen to this. For those of you ready to go on to problem 11, we are moving forward. So I'm sliding over here to problem number 11. Now this one's pretty straightforward. We got a couple things we got to do here. The first thing I want to do is I need to add in a construction circle. So I turn on my circle tool and I hover on the outside of the big circle. I'm going to attach right here to the center. And actually, I take that back. We'll do that last because that one's going to attach to the circles we're going to add in. So I take that back. I'm going to go here and actually draw a circle on this line and draw back. Now I need to add a relationship between this circle and this circle of tangent. So I'm going to use my control key, click on the small circle here, the big circle here, and make a tangent. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add a dimension here of 1.5. Now, if I was smart, I probably should have done it over here because that's actually where the dimension is at. And I'll probably end up coming back and adding that on, deleting this one off. Okay. This pays dividends to kind of think ahead and save yourself time. Obviously, I'm not thinking very well because it's now going on 7 o'clock at night, and I'm hungry. So anyway, moving on. Now what I want to do is go here to circular sketch pattern. Now again, first box right here, I'm going to pick the center of the circle. The number of circles I want are 6. The circle or the entities I want to pattern is this circle right here. When I see that blue circle come up, hit your green check mark. Now I'm going to pause right here and delete this one because I should have done this earlier. Come back to this side, put the 1.5 on and check. And then in the white box, I'm going to come over here to my left and put the cursor way over here in the front. Do not put it inside the caret. Put it way up in the front part right here. Type the number 7 space TIMES space. Hit your check mark. Now, turn on your circle tool again. I'm now going to I'm going to hover on this outside circle, lock onto the circle, and we're going to just drag this until we can get one of, Control Z, dang it. Sorry guys. Do this one more time. I'm going to hover on this outside circle, click right here until I get basically to I see one of these centers come up. And it may be any of them. Any of them comes up. So I can get to one of these centers. As soon as you see it, left click, go to your left and make it for construction. Hit the check mark. Okay. Now, draw another circle. Again, this time hover. I'm going to draw the circle until I touch any one of these small circles. As soon as one of them turn orange, left click. Escape. Now we're almost done with this. We got a little bit more to do. We have to add in 2 angled lines. These are center lines. So I'm going to go up here to my line tool and drop this down to center line. And I'm basically going to come above and drop a line diagonal this way. I'll adjust it back a little bit. That looks good. And then I'm going to turn on another center line and drag it this way. So I'm creating like a giant X. Okay, now all I'm going to do is make a relationship here of this line, control key, and this center point and make them coincident. Check mark. This line here to the left, highlight it, control key, this center point here, and make them coincident. Okay, now we're not exactly in the right spot yet. So what I'm going to do is take my smart dimension, hit the angle line and this horizontal line, pull up and to my right and type in 60, enter. I'm going to do the same thing over here. 2 clicks, pull out for click number 3, 60, enter. Hit escape. Now if you look at the drawing I gave you, I don't have two 60s on there. I only have the one over here. So I'm going to come back and left click on this once it turns blue, hit highlight or hit delete. And now at this point, Control save, Control S, I've got problem 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 completed. So we're going to finish the last two now. I'm going to work on problem number 12. Number 12, we're just going to draw two circles and pattern them 8 times, then use our trim tool to make it look the same as the drawing I gave you. Turning on my circle template. I'm going to come over here and attach right to that little triangle, or no, excuse me, diamond, the quadrant. Pull a circle 1, pull a circle number 2. Turn on your smart dimension. The inside circle we are going to dimension at 0.84. Enter. Outside circle we are going to dimension at 1.125. Enter. Turn off your smart dimension. Go up under linear pattern, drop it to circular. Remember, the first box is critical. Highlight it and pick the center of this circle. Number of entities, instead of 4, make this 8. The entities to pattern are going to be the inside circle and the outside circle. Hit your check mark, and now you'll see 8 circles in a pattern. Okay, adjust your dimensions as you need to, like so. Now, again, smart are the trim entities, trim to closest. I'm going to work from the top and work my way slowly around one circle at a time. So I'm going to come in here. I see that one and that one goes away. I see that this one here and this one here goes away. I see this one here and here goes away. And I see that one and that one. Okay, so that's one circle done. Go to circle number 2, and I'm right-handed, so I'm going to my right. If you're left, go to your left. It's up to you. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to hit that line there and there. Work my way around. I get this line here and here. Working down here, I see this one gone and this one gone. Now again, do not panic about this line right here. This has a gap. Remember when we did our hand drawings, a gap indicated a dimension. You can't delete it. It's okay. We can move it later. Honestly, you don't have to delete it at all because I know what this means. You're not going to get downgraded for having that gap there. Okay, so continue on. Working my way around this one here. This is Maple 4. I see that one gone and gone. Coming around again down here on this one. I see here and here. Working my way around. I see this one and this one. Along this bottom. Here and here. Okay, around this way. I see here and here. Okay, so I'm almost through. I'm going through this way. I see this one here and this one here. This one here and this one here. Moving to this far right or left circle. This one and this one. This one and this one. There, okay? And it looks like at that point, I've got all my lines trimmed. Again, do not panic about this one here and this one here. All those are your dimensions. Okay, that's all it is. Go ahead and leave them. It's okay. I'm not going to downgrade you because I see that. Okay, so with that said, number 12 is now complete. Control S. Okay, so now we're through problem 12. Now again, if at any time you need to go back, rewind and listen again. Take your time. Last problem, we're going to focus in on problem number 13. We'll finish with our tile block, we'll go through the print process, and we'll be done with this in the next 5 minutes. So again, I'm going to turn on my circle template. I'm going to draw a circle right here that's nice and large and hit my check mark. I'm going to add a relationship between this small circle here, control key, and this big circle here of tangent. I'm going to hit my check mark. I'm going to turn on my dimensioning tool and dimension this big circle here to 1.92. I'm going to turn my circle tool again and connecting to the inside of this circle, draw a second circle and dimension it to 1.56. I am now going to pattern this circle 4 times. So under linear sketch pattern, drop it to circular, pick your center. Your center will be this circle right here. I want 4 of these, and my entities to pattern are going to be the inside circle and the outside circle. Check mark. Now, we need to add in a small dash circle on the inside here. So again, with your circle tool on, I'm going to hover on this outside circle, attach to the middle, pull circle. I'm going to make it for construction, so it goes dashed. And then I'm going to turn on my smart dimension and dimension this circle to 1.125. Enter. Now, turn on your trim tool. Again, I would strongly suggest trim to closest. Okay, this is a little tricky, so really slow. I'm going to work one circle at a time. So I'm going to come around here and click this circle here and here, working inside. Okay, if I come down here, there will be one correction I make on this. I will tell you that. You'll see it here in a moment. If you follow this guideline on the answer key, I will not mark it wrong. I promise you. But I am going to start making a correction on this at this time. So I'm going to work here and get this one and this one gone. Again, working down, I get this one and this one gone. I'm still on the same circle. So I'm coming across the side. I get here and here gone. Working up. I get the left line here and the right line, and then finishing off. Oops, actually that was this. Oh, sorry, my bad. Going this way. I've jumped ahead. Sorry. I get rid of that line and that line. Okay, so working around the second one here, I see I get rid of here, here, and here. Okay, I'm not going to panic. Again, what does these indicate? Dimension lines. I will, in the end, show you how you can delete those and re-add them in. Okay, but I'm going to continue working myself around. I'm working up the bottom here, and I see that's gone and that's gone. I think I did pretty good to there. Yes and yes. Working my way around to the circle here. I am going to get rid of this one and this one. And this one here and this one here. Working my way around here. I'll get rid of that one and this one. And I believe, oops, nope, I got to get from here. And I got that one and that one. Okay, I believe I have everything trimmed out. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to do a quick Control S, and then I want to show you a quick trick. I'm pretty anal retentive. I'm sure some of you are. Some of you in my class are perfectionists. Awesome, nothing wrong with that. If you leave these like they are, you're okay. But I don't like seeing these extra lines. So what I'm going to do is left click on this 1.56 and hit delete. I'm going to highlight this 1.192 and delete. Now I'm going to turn on my smart dimension and click on this one. Left click, check mark, inside circle, left click, check mark. Now, hopefully most of you are realizing, oh wait, these aren't diameters anymore. These are actually in radius. And the reason they turn that way is because as soon as we trim a circle, cut it off, it's no longer considered a diameter. It is a radius. The good news is I can change these to diameter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my dimensioning tool by hitting escape. I'm going to go to the R.960 and right click on top of it. Drop down to display options and go to the words display as diameter. Go to your R.780 and hover, right click, display options, display as diameter. And just like that, those lines are gone, but your dimensions are now correct. At this point, all of your problems are done. Control Save. Now, before you ever turn this in, because I had some people do this, I had 4 or 5 of you that turned it in with the words GHS student. Unfortunately, I had to trash them because I do not know who GHS student is because we have almost 3,000 of them. Right? What we have to do here now is go over to where it says drawn by and double click inside here. And with my caps lock on, type your first initial and your last name. Now, if your last name is very long, you can come in here, okay, double click and change your font to fit. Okay, mine fits. I'm going to left click and drag and it's kind of lined up to the middle. That looks good. The title has already been done for you. The scale has been done for you. The period, though, or excuse me, the date today for you will be 9/20/19. The period will be 4A. And then check by will be me. So you can type in Mr. Combs. And at that point, F key, Control S. You are now done with the drawing. It is ready to be turned in and submitted for grade. So to print, as a rehash, go up to the little print symbol at the top, print. Now what you're looking for is GBH L108 TE Lab. Okay, I want you to go to page setup and just double check that the first box is B border, the scale is at 100%, and it's on 11/17. If it is, you're ready to print. Just say OK and hit OK again. Take your finished drawing, fold it in half, and put it in the gray box. Whatever time is remaining in class, use it to either catch up on 1 through 4, 5 and 6. If you've got all the way 1 through 13 completed, you may go ahead and work on some other homework in other classes. Next class, we'll be working on problems 14 and 15. And then the next class after that, 16, 17. One after that, 18, 19. And then we're quizzing on 20. So we'll be done with this in just over a week. Use this video to your advantage. Watch as many times as you need to. Watch it at home if you also have to do there. Otherwise, we are done. Congratulations. I will see you all on Tuesday. Take care.